Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Please subscribe my channel. The invitation arrived on a Tuesday. A crisp, heavy cardstock rectangle that felt like a relic from another life. You are cordially invited to the masked ball, a celebration of light and illusion. For a moment, Alara was transported. She could almost hear the clink of champagne flutes, feel the crush of sequined gowns, smell the intoxicating blend of perfume and anticipation. It was the kind of event she and Ben would have circled on their calendar months in advance. Then the present rushed back in, cold and silent. The calendar on the kitchen wall was no longer filled with social engagements, but with reminders of a different sort. Cardiac physio, 10 a.m. Grief support, 2 p.m. Ben's favorite armchair sat empty by the fireplace, a book still resting on its arm, a fossil from a time before the long illness, before the quiet, before the end. The ball was exactly 1 year to the day since he'd passed. A week later, flipping through channels, she stumbled upon it. Celebrity Deception, a glamorous, dramatic game of lies and alliances set in a Scottish castle. Her breath hitched. It was a show they had loved to hate watch together, curled on the sofa, playfully accusing each other of being the secret traitor. Ben would weave elaborate, ridiculous theories, his eyes sparkling with mischief. It's obviously the opera singer, my love. No one is that trustworthy. The memory was so vivid it was a physical ache. Now watching the contestants in their elegant evening wear, whispering in opulent, wood-paneled rooms, she didn't see a game. She saw a grotesque parody. The whispered conspiracies, the strategic betrayals, the very language of faith and loyalty being twisted into a game. It felt alien, jarring. This world of manufactured suspense and shallow alliances was a universe away from the stark, profound truth of her last years, the unwavering loyalty of sitting by a hospital bed, the terrifying vulnerability of true trust, the absolute ungame-like finality of loss. She was supposed to be moving forward. Her friend said so. The article said so. But moving forward felt like a betrayal of its own. The night of the ball arrived. Alara stood in her walk-in closet, her fingers brushing past the vibrant beaded gowns she used to wear. They looked like costumes now, the uniforms of a woman who no longer existed. Her hands settled on a simple, elegant black dress, the one she'd worn to his memorial service. It felt honest. She drove towards the glittering hotel, the city lights blurring. Every landmark was a ghost. That's where we had our anniversary dinner. That's a cinema where he laughed so hard he cried. The weight of it all pressed down, a heavy, suffocating cloak. She could picture the ballroom, the masks, the music, the forced gaiety. She would have to smile, to make small talk, to pretend that the world of celebrity deception was just harmless fun and not a trigger that had ripped the scab off her grief. Pulling up to a red light just a block from the hotel, she saw a couple on the sidewalk, arguing. The woman threw her hands up in frustration, and the man turned away. It was a scene of ordinary conflict, but in that moment, it seemed to hold more raw, honest human connection than the entire polished spectacle awaiting her. She didn't make a conscious decision. It was an instinct, a deep, cellular need for self-preservation. Her hands tightened on the steering wheel. When the light turned green, she didn't go straight. She turned right, away from the hotel, and drove. She didn't drive home. She drove to the quiet park overlooking the lake, the place they had scattered his ashes. She killed the engine and sat in the silence, the only light coming from the moon on the water. There, in the dark, she finally let the tears come. They weren't tears of weakness, but of release. She hadn't been running from her grief by avoiding the ball. She had been running toward her own truth, Her loyalty wasn't to the past or to the social expectations of the present. It was to the raw, unvarnished reality of her heart. Picking up her phone, she typed a text to the friend who had organized her ride. "I'm so sorry. I couldn't do it. I'm safe." She put the phone down and looked out at the serene, dark water. The masks, the illusions, the deceptive games, they were someone else's world. Her world was here, in the quiet and the memory. And for now, that was the only truth she needed to face.